just say something about the Green Runners pillars and the pledges. When you join the Green Runners, they try and encourage you, or at least to make a pledge on at least one of the pillars. Not that there's any pressure to do that when you join, but personally, I've made a pledge against each of the pillars. So the Green Runner pillars are: one, how you move. In other words, things like travelling to running events and things like that. The second one is how you kit up. In other words, your running gear, your trainers and your tees and etc. How you eat. So in other words, your diet. Moving towards a plant-based diet is preferential for the environment. And how you speak out, which is an umbrella for many things, and it's what I've decided in the main to do, hence a stream of videos that you may or may not have been looking at. Speaking out to me is an important one. So anyway, going back then, how you move. Basically, the less you travel in life in any way, whether it's to runs, events, or in your general life, the less you travel, obviously, the less you travel by air or car, primarily air, I suppose. Many runners, top runners, are taking options to reduce their carbon footprint through reducing their level of travel to events, or at least if they travel to events, they're doing more local events, not going to all these big races abroad. And if they do go to races abroad, then they're taking options such as travelling on the train, etc. So yeah, how you move. So reduce your carbon footprint by reducing your travel. Also, it comes into that sort of thing, of course, more generally, is having an electric vehicle, which is preferential to a normally petrol-driven vehicle and things like that. But basically, from a running perspective, less travel to events, car sharing, and that type of thing, running locally. Even, as I say, some of the members of the Green Runners, who are top runners, are running locally. They're doing local events in Britain rather than going abroad to prestigious events in some cases. So that's number one, how we move. Number two is how you kit up. There's a lot of running kit purchased nowadays. Basically, that pillar is based around the idea that we should reduce as far as possible the amount of running kit that we have. The fashion influence comes in here. I would say that you don't really need to own more than 2 or 3 running vests, running shorts, etc. The rest of the kit as well, you know, there's so much of it, isn't there? There's drink bottles and there's Garmin watches and there's this and there's that and that. Basically, the idea is that we purchase far less running kit and gadgets and only keep it to the minimum. So in other words, if you have a run tee, then use it until it's finished its life. Don't replace it until that is the case, and don't. People are I mean, like the London Marathon is having a trees not tees option. So in other words, runners can choose to not have a t-shirt but instead have a tree planted. These kinds of initiatives, there's a huge amount of running gear, clothing, gadgets in the running industry, and it's having a big effect on the environment, and therefore, you know, in this instance, the Green Runners are committing themselves to reducing the kit that they purchase. How you eat, as I say, a plant-based diet for lots of reasons is good for your health and also good for the environment. One big example of that is if you eat beef, and I do still a bit, but I'm heading towards a plant-based diet. If you eat beef, a lot of beef in the world is coming from areas of the world where rainforest is being destroyed at a very, very high rate. The statistic that you can research on that is, and I've researched, is that for every single minute, there is one football pitch worth of rainforest being destroyed in the world. Now, one of the big things is it's being destroyed and being replaced by cattle farming for the production of beef. There are other things. It's also being destroyed for growing soya and palm oil. But the net effect is that we can't afford to lose rainforest at that level. We can't afford to lose it at all because it's a big carbon sink. It absorbs carbon, it holds carbon. And without rainforest, basically, set and match, game over for climate warming. It's a very bad impact. So that's why a lot of people are going vegetarian or plant-based. Not because necessarily for the animal cruelty aspect, which is another consideration for a lot of people to follow a plant-based diet. But with global warming, with the climate emergency, the influence of cattle farming around the world and beef production is highly, highly negative to the environment. So moving towards a plant-based diet and vegetarian and vegan, etc. And finally, as I said, it's the fourth one is how you speak out. I'm speaking out through my Facebook pages. I'm speaking out to people at running clubs, anyone I meet, not just runners. I'm annoying a lot of people. As Damien Hall says, don't be afraid to be annoying, because that's the name of the game, I'm afraid. Can be a bit of a taboo subject, but I think you've got to try and get over that. And it's not easy, and you have to do it in a way that obviously, hopefully people will absorb what you're saying, and not the opposite effect. But I've made a commitment to speak out very strongly, and I'm doing that. And I'm losing a few friends, but hopefully doing something beneficial for the environment. So quickly to just whip through and say what I'm doing as my pledges in the Green Runners is I am reducing my travel for Pillar 1 as in every way that I possibly can. My wife and I have pretty well come to the decision that we won't fly more than at the most once a year on holiday. So and reduction of travel related to running. So I'm reducing my travel. We are reducing our travel as much as we possibly can. Kitting up. I used to go and in all these events, and I used to get all these T-shirts with the event, etc. I'm actively refusing it. I'm not that I do many events now, but if I do an event, I will refuse teas. I will take a trees not teas option if that's available with the event organiser. And in actual fact, if I do go in an event, I will, I get awarded with, there is a T-shirt awarded with that event and a medal. I have decided that I will return those items to the event organiser and at the same time make the point and explain to them why I'm doing it. In regard to the importance to help the environment. How you eat, my wife and I are moving towards a plant-based diet. I'm a great lover of steak, but hey, the environment is more important. So we are fast moving towards a plant-based diet. I would say that we're eating a little bit of fish and chicken maybe, but apart from that our meat consumption is way down and it's going out. And then a fourth, how you speak out. Yeah, good one. Covers a lot of things. But basically, it's about green awareness. It's about spreading the word. I am trying to organise Green Awareness Runs, is my little Facebook group Race, which this is coming out as part of my speaking out for the environment. So guys, there's no real pressure join the Green Runners. If you do, you know, the Green Runners like you to make a pledge based around one of these pillars as a minimum. Majority of Green Runners who join are making pledges based around all four. And hopefully with the increasing numbers joining the Green Runners, we're starting to have a fairly significant impact, and the more members we get, the greater the impact and the greater the benefits to the environment. So I hope I've explained that sufficiently well. Thank you for listening again. Green Running.